Good morning, everyone, and welcome to American Scouser's morning coffee or tea with American Scouser on a Friday, where we are reckless as can be. It is pretty reckless because it's just us two. God knows where this will go. Kazi is somewhere in Vegas being reckless, probably even now, 7 in the morning over there. But Anand with us. What's happening?
What's up? It's good to be back. It's been is it a week or two? Oh, it's
Is
been a
it good
week.
to be back, though? Or are you just saying
Yeah,
that?
it's been it's good to be back. I actually miss talking shit. And I miss saying things that Sir Z will specifically focus on and reply to, and then just message me about them for the next 6 months. So I'm here for it. Let's go.
So he keeps receipts, that's for sure. But I was too. I've been talking shit about you and your love of Rude for the last probably 2 weeks over here because you were so big on him. And look, I mean, his new manager smell didn't last like 10 days.
Okay, so to put the speculation away, I wasn't big on Rude. I said,
No,
wow,
no, 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 no. Dude, I
impressive.
will go back.
He's
I will go back
impressive.
and find the
The
clip.
team are playing good, and I think he's gonna get this team playing well. And I still think it's very likely that he will. Um, but they're absolutely garbage, and he's just not there yet. And I think somebody wrote a message into Discord yesterday. Jurgen Klopp showed Ferguson and Wenger how to leave a team with a base where even if their manager leaves, the next guy can take over. And that just falls in I don't want to put names out there, but when Claudio Ranieri left Leicester City, everything went downhill. And they didn't have a plan for what happens next. With that being said, Ruud van Nistelrooy is one of those Sir Alex Ferguson uh, manager classes, where they feel like they came out of his academy and everything's going to be so well. It's not looking too great for him, nor is it looking too great for Wayne Rooney. So that's Sir Alex Ferguson
Oh,
coach
what happened in that
academy.
game? I just saw it on YouTube as like highlights, and I didn't even like pay attention
They
to it.
they lost 4-0 to Frank Lampard's team, and who's also back managing. I didn't know, but
Yeah, he is basically that
yeah,
was the thing I saw on YouTube. They're like, Rooney versus Lampard and stuff like that, and I was like,
yeah.
yeah, I'm not gonna be
The
able to.
bottom line is the Sir Alex Ferguson coaching academy is not where I want to go get my coaching credentials. That's really where I want to go with this.
Seeing the Wolves resurgence under Vitor Pereira, and I mean, that's when you talk about a new manager smell. 2 wins, 2 games, and when you only got 9 points, getting another 6 points is huge. Honestly, looking at this over here, before we kind of get to the details of the game, I kind of see the bottom three just going down the way they are.
Yeah.
Palace is, I mean, you can see Palace getting occasional wins there to bump them up and keep them out of the trouble. Everton just got like, a bunch of draws and they're keeping clean sheets against, what, Arsenal, City. Who's the other one? I mean, they had like tough games one after another and they've gotten points. So they know, Dyche knows how to get a point at a time, even if it's not 3 points. So I don't think it's looking good for your boy Rude over there.
Yeah. Well, it's not like he inherited a good situation, but the same could be said for Wolves. Is this a new manager smell situation, and they'll go back to where they were, or are they going to continue the resurgence? Because let's be real, getting a win for United is not really a big deal. It's not like it's something that was difficult to do or something that had to happen. It's just the United team itself is a team that's struggling to figure out what their identity is. But as of now, I think the bottom three stays the same. I don't see a drastic change that would change, but if there's anything that I could see happening is Palace going down. I don't know whether it's for Leicester or anybody else, but Palace are very inconsistent. They don't really have a style. That team is just going out there and just saying, fuck it, let's do this. So Palace is one of those teams that could go down if it isn't Leicester. But I see no hope for Southampton and Ipswich. They go out there, they perform really well, but it ends at perform well because at the end of it, they're not performing well too. And like against when they face Liverpool, they performed, but they lost. They go on and they face City. They perform so good, they lose. Same thing against Chelsea. So it's a team that's happy to be there, it feels. And they're just playing those games. We're like, wow, good job. Unlucky you lost. So yeah, the bottom three is very likely to be the same.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of hope, for example, for like today's game when they take on Arsenal. I think it's just going to be an easy game of Arsenal. But again, I mean, you could have said that. A lot of people probably said that for the Leicester City game yesterday, and we had like high predictions. And honestly, aside from the goal conceded, you don't give them a lot of chances. It was just kind of like baffling why we were attacking the way we were attacking the first half. I've never seen us sending so many crosses back into the box, left and right, when it felt like that was their strength anyway. You look at their two center backs, neither of them are, like they're both kind of slower, but can head anything out. Bunch of, two Nat Phillipses in there basically. So
Right.
I didn't understand why we kept sending back, crosses. And then we make some tweaks and you can kind of, and this is what I really love about Slot, like instantly the second half started and you could see the adjustment that was made. And within like the first 5-6 minutes, we were in the box creating chances like 3-4 times, doing the same thing, getting that ball in between the left back and the center back, or the right back and the center back, and stuff like that. But what did you make of the game overall? I know the boys had technical difficulties last night, so we're not on air. So we technically didn't have a post match. So this is the post match at the same time. What did you think of the game?
I thought overall, good performance. You hit it right on the nail, right? The nice thing about Sloth is he sees what's going on in the game, and then you know damn well he's gonna fix it in the second half. One way or another, you're gonna put the same team, but with a different game plan per se. So that's something I enjoy seeing. Started off the game kind of cut off guard with that goal, little mistake in the box, little miscommunication, I'd like to call it, and then we concede.
Why
And
would
I'm
you call it
glad.
miscommunication?
I just felt like both guys were going for the ball. It was I don't remember who it was. Virgin, was it Trent or was it
No, it was
Robo?
Robo.
Yeah, and I felt like
Trent
they
gets
were
kind
both
of out
going.
of position pressing, so the ball goes there. I mean, honestly, like nobody in the back four kind of covers themselves in glory on that one. Gomez should probably be stopping that cross from coming in if he's situated
Right.
better and stuff. Gravenberg kind of lets the cross in. There is like a lot of,
Yeah,
yeah,
I just
like,
felt like there's a breakdown over there,
yeah,
and then they score, and then we're stunned for the next few minutes. But then look, exactly 6 minutes after the goal, it's 70-30 possession and 80-20 possession. And then you know the team is building, but they were relying on let's put the crosses in the box. Let's hope for, Darwin to get the ball. Let's put the crosses in the box. And then at the end of the day, just absolute brilliance from Gakpo that gets us the 1-1. And then when you go in at halftime 1-1 versus you go in at halftime 1-0,
yeah,
completely different team talk. So they went in at 1-1. They tweaked, they changed, they came out. Mo was more direct, taking more shots. We saw more direct from the midfield. I thought Jones had a really bad first half, but I also thought Jones had a really good second half. Not great, not how well as he's been playing, but he had a better second half. I thought as a team, we played better in the second half. And then, you get the second, you get the third, you could have gotten the fourth and the fifth, but we
yeah.
wasted chances. But also, their keeper, he's their second choice keeper. He just got the nod to start for Danny Ward, and he's going out there to make a point. So he had a good game. Overall, I'm very happy with it. These are the games that decide titles. It's the games when you're down and you win, or the games that you win 1-0 and you just scrape by. And I'm very happy with the way it went.
Yeah, honestly, and watching the games yesterday, which it unfolded like couldn't be any freaking better. I mean, City at this point, I consider them out and gone.
Oh yeah,
That kind of is done now. But then you watch the Chelsea game, and you compare Chelsea playing 1-up compared to us playing 2-1, and you can see why. I don't see them yet as a title contender, because they kind of play like how we used to, being 1-up. Like anything can happen. Granted, they're playing against the better Fulham side
yeah,
than we're playing in Leicester. But regardless, in terms of like the control, even though when they were winning, they did not look in control. Whereas you look at
yeah,
our game, I mean, I'm going to be paranoid the way it is anyway. But even when it was 2-1, the control we had, and I found it amazing. So let me ask you that, because that was even like, because my wife was watching like towards the end with me, and like 3-1, and Leicester did not want to come out. And I
yeah, yeah,
kind of get that, but I kind of don't, because I mean, I know you're probably not going to come back from 3-1, but at least there's a chance. Is that just rude, trying to not get demolished so that it's not demoralizing for future weeks? Because They literally said, I mean, we were passing, like Gomez and Van Dijk were passing back and forth, and they were like, nope, we're not coming out. We're acting like it's tied.
Yeah. It could, I mean, it could be just not wanting to get smashed, the 5 or 6, and it looks bad. And now you look like the horrible manager who's getting out there losing 4s and 5s and 6s. The other thing, it could be he's one of those guys that, and I wish Maka was here, but like Ange, who no matter what the score is, no matter what's happening, he's always going to play the same way. And he's been criticized for it since his first season at Spurs. He plays at a high line. They stay in the midfield.
Attacking way, at least. This is like you're
parking
the bus,
even defensively, even defensively, whether he's winning or losing, it's the exact same way. And he doesn't change it. Like, dude, you're up 3-0 at United. Why are you still playing with a high line? Just hold the midfield. Play normal. No.
But I mean, okay, like that one, I can excuse a bit more because that's your philosophy. I mean, I don't get it. I agree with you. I think it's dumb. But that's your philosophy. You're like, you know what? If they score, we're going to score more than them. You play like that. When you're down 3-1, and you basically gave us the ball and you're just sitting and watching, that's not a philosophy. I don't even know what that is. That's more like damage control.
Yeah, it's partially damage control, partially, you know what? It's going to work. Just believe in the system. No matter what the score is, believe in it. Let's get used to it because this is what's going to keep us safe. And he just wants his guys to kind of be used to what he's doing. These are just opinions, not facts. We don't know what's going on, but it just felt like he wants to keep faith in his system. He doesn't want them giving up on it, even though they're down, which, again, makes no sense. Bro, if you're down 3-1 or 7-1, it's still 0 points. Go get it. But like, I don't know.
Yeah, it was just odd. It was like the
Perud is not the brightest, obviously.
I'm like, you guys know the game is 90, right? Like, it was like the 83rd minute, and they were still like, nope, we're good over here. You guys keep passing it over there. And then I think that's one thing I like with what we do now. Yeah, I want us to go get 4, 5, 6 and stuff like that. But we were very content saying, like, 3-1 is 3 points, man. We'll pass it back around over here all freaking day. It is what it is. Well, if you're not going to come out, we're not coming.
So on the other hand, you look at Amorim, and he's down 1-0, and it's minute 90, and he's like, you know what, screw it. We're down 1-0, just push everybody up. And then, Garnacho tries to be smart, loses the ball, and now it's 4-on-2, and then 2-on-1, and then it's a goal. I guess Ruud watched that game before our game, and he's like, this is not going to happen. We are not doing that. You see, prime example of what not to do. And here we are.
I mean, I guess the only thing that makes sense is what you're saying. They're like, hey, this is the defensive shape we're going to play with rest of the season. There's going to be a bunch of games like this where we park the bus and try to get a point, Sean Douche style kind of a deal. I just don't expect that from a striker manager. You know what I mean? Like, I don't expect him to. Maybe he's doing it for spite now, saying like, I can defend. Because we were talking in the pre-match with like Sergi and Brian about, a manager who's like more attacking, how it will affect their defense and stuff like that. But yeah, I agree with the Jones thing. Of course, then Gravenberch sets up Szoboszlai to get a yellow. So that really screwed up the rotation because I think the goal was to have Szoboszlai go 70, 80 against West Ham and then have Jones come 10 minutes. Well, that's not a limit. That's more like Gravenberch. He loses the ball like really needlessly. And then he dove, and I'm pretty sure he's on the edge as well.
Yes.
So now I worry about him getting something in the West Ham game and being out against.
Funny enough, when we were talking in the Discord, I wrote Grav needs to get a yellow. As simple as that. He could put a Lucas Paqueta, and just do something. But he had to get a yellow because. But then again, I stopped and I was like, we're making this seem like it's United in 06 or 07 or 08, where we wanted Gerrard to make sure he plays, so we wanted him to get a yellow at Fulham. It's not anymore. This is not a United team that you should fear. Now, granted, I'm not saying, just go out there and play Morton in the midfield. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying it's not a game to worry about anymore. With that being said, I'm glad Szoboszlai got his yellow, which I genuinely believe it was done on purpose. Just opinion, not fact, because he was probably not playing the West Ham game. He's probably going to be a substitute for Jones because we have a midweek Champions League game, if I'm not mistaken, coming up. Or is that not happening? No, it's not. Yeah, but we've got West Ham. So let's see. Let me just see.
I don't think so. I really think he was going to play the West Ham game. That was part of the rotation. I mean, it's in 3 days. You're not going to rest Szoboszlai and play him 50 minutes, 2 games in a row I think you really messed
Yeah.
up the rotation. So
Well,
now you're probably going to start Curtis Jones again.
you start Jones at West Ham. You start Szoboszlai 90 at United. Hopefully he gets a yellow there. Hopefully Gravenberch gets a yellow there, so he misses the Spurs game in the semifinal.
It's really, I
Um,
mean, you have West Ham away, then United at home, then Tottenham away for
yeah,
the semifinal first leg, and then you have an FA Cup third round game, and then you go away to Forest, which is
yeah,
probably like the toughest one. But at
the
least you'll
tough
be
one.
able to
Yep.
rest going into that because you're gonna figure in the FA Cup game you're gonna like fully rotate at the end of the day,
Yes.
and then those guys are going to get like a full week's rest basically before they face Forest. But yeah, and then you're going away to Brentford, like two tough away games back to back coming up over there
Yeah.
once we play United. And I hear what you're saying about United, but it's still a United game, and I really think United is for United players, these are some of the few games that you can kind of semi save your season, right? I
And
mean,
yeah,
you're not
yeah.
saving your season, but on paper, psychologically, fan wise, it's a good way to get 3 weeks of peace if you get a good result against Liverpool.
Yeah, you're gonna say you beat Liverpool, but also you've slowed down their title charge. And then if
Yeah,
Liverpool ends up somehow losing the title at the end of the season, oh, we stopped them from winning the league. You can do so much, but also you can look at it as like, see, Amorim, he's a big game manager. He knows what he's doing.
yep,
It's all these things that will be in their head. And no matter what, it's Liverpool United or Liverpool Everton. You want your best 11 out there, regardless of how good or bad they are.
yeah.
We saw how bad Everton were last year, but it's debatable that they're the reason why we didn't win the league when
I mean,
we
same thing
played.
with United. I really think that's when things started to fall apart. Was that the FA
Yeah.
Cup game?
Yeah, so really, you want your best 11 out there. I wanted Szoboszlai to get a full 90 at West Ham, or at least 70. But with the United game being there, I don't mind him missing that game. But the other thing is Gravenberch is on a yellow suspension. Gakpo is on a yellow suspension. If I'm not mistaken, Konate, but he's out anyway. You've got who Jota, wasn't it? No, it was Nunez. Nunez on another yellow suspension. So we've got a list of names that are a yellow away from suspension. And I hope
What did you make of him, by the way?
Gakpo.
No, Nunez.
Gakpo was great. I thought Gakpo was amazing. I loved Gakpo every second of it.
Gakpo is amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
Dude, that guy, for his the
Made him
control
forget.
he has on the ball and his technical ability, despite his ridiculous size, actually, you kind of like watch him play and you forget like how tall he is. He's so lanky, but he's so good on the ball. And yeah, I mean, that has become a vintage goal, right?
Yeah,
For him to cut in. And also, you don't know, like 2 steps before that, he can cross that, chip that ball in and create a
yeah,
danger, and he can go to the line. So now you got 3 different things to defend there.
yeah,
And I feel like that's why he's better on that left wing compared to Diaz sometimes, because he
yeah.
does have 3 different things he can do on the wing. Whereas I can't remember who was saying this, but when we were talking about it in one of the shows, somebody in the comments said, Diaz was a bit more predictable on the wing. I feel like Gakpo, yes, we see that cut in and cross and cut in and shoot, but you can also see like 3 minutes later, he takes somebody down to the line as well.
Yeah. Well, it looks like on the wing, Gakpo is I've been saying this a lot more direct. He knows what he's doing. I'm gonna beat you and I'm gonna put it in a box, or I'm gonna beat you, I'm gonna shoot, or I'm gonna beat you and go past you, go past another guy and make a pass. Where Diaz, it's I'm gonna run at you, I'm gonna beat you, and then I'm gonna come back and beat you again because it's funny. And then if I do it again, I'm gonna ole, and I'm gonna come back and until I lose the ball.
Yeah,
So
he got the and then we'll see how it goes. Like, I'm gonna get
yeah,
past you, and then we'll see how it goes.
yeah. So it's I'm liking Gakpo on the left. I'm not minding Diaz up top. Both are good choices, and I gotta credit Slot for these changes, especially the Diaz up top one. But to answer your question, Nunez, I thought he had a below average game. Felt a step behind everybody else. Yes, he's got the pace. Yes, he's got the body, but genuinely felt like he was a step behind everybody else. And one of Slot's first thing coming to Liverpool was, I want to work with Nunez. I'm going to fix him. I'm going to make him work. The question is, how long is that project? And when do you say, okay, maybe he's not the right guy for my team, and I need to go out there and get a true number 9, because as much as we love Jota, he's a true number 9 half the season, and he's a true Thiago the other half. So how long are we going to be able to keep him for? So I think this summer we are going to go shopping for a striker, unless from now till the end of the season Darwin becomes Benfica Darwin and he just goes flying. I just don't see anything happening with him in his future at the club. Now, if we win the league and we win the Champions League, it's hard to sell your players that are doing all this, right? But also, if we win the league and the Champions League, maybe you can sell these players for higher prices. So we'll see where this project
Not only
goes.
that, I think last time we did that, everybody was like, if you're not improving, you're like, regressing kind of a thing, which, is true. That's, just because you won with those guys doesn't mean you can't like improve on that. But I mean, you look at, I know he was playing centrally, but let me put this on the screen right here. So you can kind of like compare, like this is him. Maybe not fair to compare him to Gakpo, who was probably, I mean, not probably, definitely the man of the match kind of a thing. But I mean, like really, he was almost like invisible in terms of like, what he did. And, for a guy on the wing who's doing a lot more, he only loses possession 2 times more. It's just like was never fouled for Nunez. I just find that he was almost not there. Like you did not notice him much at all. And I think, to be fair to him, this is why when we were talking in the pre-match, I don't think these are his games. Like when somebody's sitting low block, you're not going to put him in the middle. I mean, Brian says we need like a true 9. I don't think, like, we don't know, right? Because Slot is new and he's working with what he has. We don't know what his ideal player is, but I still think his ideal player is like a Diaz, like Bobby, like 9.
Yeah.
Who's not like just like a big 9 in there. But we had him in the middle. Maybe that's why we kept sending crosses in, but he was ineffective. He wasn't even able to challenge those. I mean,
Right.
aerial duels 1 is like 2 out of 4. But not under I don't think are in the box. These are probably more like, like long kicks from like alley or something like that. You don't have a 9 in there. He is not that 9 who's going to be in the middle and win headers between center backs. So he kind of gets lost in a game like this because he has no space to run into. So he just doesn't know where to go.
Well, yeah, and that's where I just believe he was a step behind everybody else because it seemed like the team's playing one style and he's looking for something else. And I hate to say it. I just don't, like I said, as of now, we don't know what could happen. He's just not fitting in that style that the club is playing. Could it change? Of course, right? Everything changes. Last season, we all wanted Gravenberch to get loaned out to get some minutes so he can come back and be a good player because we were like, oh, he's just a confused young man.
What's this we should?
You were on board with that.
No.
It was me, you, and John, and we were roasting John 24/7, and I can pull it up.
That was just a mess with John, though, to be fair.
Yeah, but here he is now, one of the best in the Premier League. I'm not saying the same thing could happen to Nunez because that it's to some people that ship has sailed, but let's see how this season finishes. We don't know what's coming.
Do you see a world where that actually happens?
Honestly, I do. I just feel like he's down on morale now and he's just mentally not there. But what are the chances? I would say only a 20% chance where this would happen. Just because we've seen Nunez, we've seen what he's capable of. We know how good he is. Just not in this setup. Watch him when he goes to Uruguay, right? Completely different player. It's just maybe not working in this setup. Is it the league that's just not cut for him? Is it the style? Is it the manager? Is it the wingers? Is it the way we pass the ball? Whatever it is, it's not cut for him because he presses really well. When we don't have the ball, he presses really well.
This is the myth. He does not press really well.
He presses. I will not sit down and argue. I refuse. I think he presses well, but everything else gets lost.
He presses. He runs hard as he presses. But the angles he takes, and this I still think is the exact reason why he doesn't, and he should not play against a team like Spurs, who builds in the back, and then once they get past your press, they can kill you. Because the angles he takes as he presses are freaking brutal.
last season, out of his goals, weren't two of them just based off of him pressing? One of them, he pressed with his ass and he scored, and the other one, he stole the ball and he scored. Does that not count?
One of them, like literally, yeah, but that's because the goalie just kicked him at his ass and then he just bounced off of him. But the angles he takes across, like when he's pressing, is like way. I'm not like the effort as he presses. Yes, he's going like 100 miles an hour, which also is partially why he's not a good presser, because one move and he's kind of like totally out. Like look at Jota press, which I think you will against West Ham. There's like the angle you come at the goalie is you gotta at least turn off one person, not like as fast as you can get to that goalie. That's all I want when I'm like building from the back, is I want you to run as fast as you can at me, but without covering anybody, so I can just pass the ball to him. And we just eliminated you because now you got to stop, go back the other way and stuff. Whereas like watch Diaz and Jota and those guys press. They're covering one side, so I'm not letting you pass to the left back. So I automatically eliminated your chances, and that's proper pressing. I just don't think Paul Bickler says, oh, he presses, he just doesn't know what he's doing. Like he's putting in the effort into pressing, but I don't think he's ever taken the right angles and stuff like that. And going back to what you're saying, when the goalie totally freaks out because he's coming at him 100 miles an hour, he kind of like benefits from that. But overall, if you have somebody with poise, he's like the easiest guy to play around as he presses.
Reckless take.
But well, I mean, it's an
reckless take.
Reckless or not, it's accurate. Damn it! I mean, yeah, watch him press and then watch Jota press. It's like night and day.
Watching Jota press just makes me panic because I feel like one turn and his season's over.
And that's the only problem. I think like you can use maybe Nunez as a guy to come off from the bench and stuff like that. But then if your other guy is not reliable, you're automatically defaulting to starting Nunez. And a game like this, like I say, I don't think this was his game to start. Just because of like we knew Leicester City was going to park the bus, and then he has no space and he can't. I mean, even Curtis was saying after the game that they had a lot of trouble finding. He had a lot of trouble finding space as a 10, like behind the striker in the box, because that's how they had set the line. So when Curtis can't, Nunes is not going to unlock the.
Let's not make Curtis sound like Prime Zidane. Hold on.
I mean, you would have to admit Curtis has more.
Yeah, but with that being
football
said,
IQ than Nunes.
I strongly believe that was a Diaz game to start. It was going to be Diaz Gakpo, but with Diaz's father's health issues, obviously it had to be a kind of a last minute call. Do we do Jota? Do we do Nunez? We don't want to risk Jota. Let's do Nunez. And that's what we ended up with. And that's again why I believe he was a step behind. It was just not meant to be.
Yeah, I mean, overall, though, when you look, I was like, Gomez had like a great game, I thought, again.
Yes.
McAllister is just unreal. I mean, those are two guys that I really enjoy watching. And then you have Mo being Mo again. Coming to West Ham now, do you expect a full rotation off top? Well, obviously, minus Mo, where you see Jota in the middle and Diaz on left.
Yeah. I believe so because of the United game after that, just a few days after. I think we'll go Diaz, Jota. I think obviously Mo will be there, but we'll see some Chiesa. And I think with Szoboszlai being out, we're gonna see a little more Endo or a lot more Elliott. So we'll see what that does.
Yeah, I mean, I can see maybe like him coming in for giving less time to Jones, or I don't know if Elliott gets a start. I don't know if I want Elliott getting a start yet. But Ryan says, "Good morning, guys. I just got on. Did you talk about VAR yet? We did not." Yeah. Okay, so there was a couple of conversations.
Wait. We can't talk about VAR. We got to review first if we can talk about VAR. Hold on.
I am okay with. It's ridiculous how long it took, but. They did get the calls right. Whoa. So VAR gets 3 minutes. If they can't figure it out by 3 minutes, it's inconclusive. Call on pitch stands. Yeah, see, I know what Ryan is saying there, and I get it. It just makes it very gray because then you get a dude over there who's basically slower at what he's doing, and that's why he didn't get a right look. I would hate to hear those calls. He's like, hold on, I clicked the wrong thing, or something like that. As
What button did you say?
I right-clicked instead of left, or something like that, and it just slowed in the process. I know it was slow. If you get the semi-automated, I guess life would be a bit easier. I think they would still have to draw the lines on this one because they were so close. I don't know what your take is. I'm at this point, just get it right, because I don't want him taking shorter and getting it. We're already waiting. If I waited 2 minutes, like, going back to what, Ryan is saying, if I waited 2.5 minutes and it's wrong, I'm still not happy. If you made me wait like 2-3 minutes, at least get the shit right, which I thought they did. It does affect the game, the flow of the game. But man, then you go to the FA Cup, League Cup, and stuff like that. And one game, you can be like, yeah, we need VAR. Especially now, we need VAR because they're now reffing even worse, reliant on VAR. So there's no going back. Like, it almost looks like, God, thank God we have VAR when you watch those EFL games.
There's multiple things, right? I'll start with VAR is something you hate it when you have it. You hate it when you don't. Because in a game in the league and we got the VAR and everybody's bitching, but then you go to the FA Cup and a bad call and they don't have VAR. It's like, oh, fuck that. That's why we need VAR everywhere. It's kind of a funny thing. But I'll give them this yesterday. They got both calls right. The concerning thing is the on-pitch referee got both calls wrong. If this was pre-VAR, we would have lost 2 goals yesterday because the on-pitch side, the assistant referee decided it's offside. Now, the second one, the one where Nunez was offside, I guarantee you, he just put up his flag because he's like, I don't know what to do. Fuck it. Here's the flag. Because in order for VAR to catch it, they had to go back another play, which in my understanding of VAR is not the way it's supposed to be used. It's supposed to be used the direct play that's involved and not go back a play. So it just made absolutely no sense what they were checking. But they got it right. Luckily for them, Nunez was offside. But initially, when they started going back another play, I'm like, wait a minute, what? I saw a tweet so funny that VAR checked so far back that Fabinho was on the pitch because they just kept going back. And I don't know why they randomly chose Fabinho, but I just thought it was funny. That's the part that threw me off of how many steps back they went. But overall, they got the call right on VAR. Unfortunately, the assistant referee got the call wrong. If the assistant referee didn't put up his flag on the first one, the goal stands because it is a goal, but he decided. And then on the second one, if they didn't go back an extra pass, it's onside because they only looked at Mo and not Nunez and this.
The whole sequence. I don't know what the correct terminology they use is. I thought it was sequence, but I might be wrong. I think they were. Yeah, Ryan said it just felt like they were. It does look like that. Well, that's when they're like almost like trying to find ways to disallow the goal. It felt like, right?
You want to excuse the assistant referee. Oh, maybe he saw this. Maybe he saw that. There's and then the other guy, in the office. What did you say his number is? Number 9. He's just clicking. His armpit's on.
It did take forever, though. I mean, it did literally take forever.
Honestly, I may be one of the few, but if it takes this long and they get it right, I don't give a shit.
And that's where I'm at because you're already stopping the game. So to me, a minute and a half and 2 minutes, it's the same shit. You already stopped the game and stopped the flow and everything like that. If you're on the pitch, I mean, the game has stopped. And I almost feel like at this point, the players have to be a lot more used to it in terms of it like stopping and stuff. Shit, it was stopping more every time they took a goal kick, for God's sake.
Yeah. I think they're used to it, especially the ones that were at the Euro and the Copa and all that. They had to sit down at the Euros for like 20 days waiting for a call to happen. They're used to it. But the way I look at it is, if this was a goal that was scored against us, we would have wanted every single angle to be viewed, right? So when it's for us, we just got to be patient. And I don't mind. As long as they get it right, I have absolutely no issue with it. And it feels like they are now taking longer because they don't want to fuck up like they did last season. Because there was multiple VAR calls that were so bad, including the one for the Diaz goal against Spurs, that were like, okay, seriously, you guys watched this that many times and you still called it offside? So now they want to make sure they get every single angle, get it right, and I'm happy with it. I am actually genuinely happy with it. I hope that, my wishful thinking and hopeful thinking is the referees on the pitch would get their shit together better. But overall, if VAR is there to correct them and make them do their job right, it takes 2 minutes or it takes 2.5. Just get it right. I don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't thrilled about it. You know who wasn't thrilled about it? Then Leo and Stitch, because they were like, dude, it can't be taking this long. Did you forget to give the snacks? I'm like, nope, trust me. They're still checking, kind of a deal. And the full phase of play, I think that is the correct terminology. Yes, thank you, Trevor. I mean, that's the thing. I think that's a good point that you made. If it was scored against us, we would want him to look at that, because we'd be like, well, that's how it all started. I mean, didn't we like that? Remember, like that United, they fouled Divock, and then they went and scored. It was a United game. I think Garnacho or
They went
somebody
all the way back to the foul.
Like, we want them to go all the way back, and I don't think they did, or it was inconclusive, whatever. Like, make it right. That's if it's there, if the game is already staying, if the joy of goal scoring has been already taken away, at least get the shit right is like all I want. So I do not have as big of an issue with it as like the outrage.
It's funny because
I saw
the players actually love the idea of full phase of play. I can give you an example when we played Spurs last week. Well, a couple of days ago, when McAllister was fouled and then Spurs went on and scored, McAllister kept telling him to review it to see that he was fouled before the pass that led to the goal. And the ref was like, I'm not doing that. But McAllister wanted it reviewed because he was fouled. He wanted the full phase of play to be shown. Obviously, the referee didn't want to do that. That's 1 and 2. It wasn't a foul. So McAllister, like, you're full of shit. But yeah, full phase of play is annoying. And I feel like it's hunting for something. But sometimes we want it to happen. Sometimes we don't. Overall, I'm happy with VAR. We talked about it at the beginning of the season. Should we scratch VAR off when they were voting on it? Wolves said yes. Everybody else said no. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely not. We need it. We should have it. It's a must. If we can get the semi-automatic like every single league in the world does now, it would be even better.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice because a lot of the stuff would be faster. And if you stop it just once to check on something like this for an extended time for a goal and stuff like that, knock yourself out. I feel like some of the other stuff is just taking like way too long. Just do the semi-automatic, move on. I mean, yeah, like you said, if every league can do it, why can't the Premier League?
They're probably scared of AI. They're probably scared of AI replacing them. I don't know if you saw the Fury versus Usyk fight. They have an AI. They had an AI judge judging the scorecards. So I'm sure the judges were like, yeah,
that can't be rigged. I'm sure.
Yeah. But the fight was in Saudi, and the judge was, Saudi. Who do you want to win? Okay, automatic 800. No, but the guys. Funny enough, the AI judge had the worst score out of all the scorecards, and everybody's like, "This is why you don't need technology in sports." All the judges had it.
I mean, I guess AI is freaking nuts. I mean, you hear the songs I do on Monday nights. I mean, the AI is some of the things that I've been like messing around the last couple of days over here is just, it's semi scary. I have to say it is semi scary. Yeah, but I mean, I do not want, because I think, talking about conspiracy theories, especially you. I mean, when you bring AI into that and just leave it to AI, then you're in deep shit over there.
Because there's one person controlling it. Yeah, one person's in charge, and it's Howard Webb and Alex Ferguson, and it's
I mean,
like, all over again.
Except into the system, if you will. Yeah, even worse. So I would not be a fan of that. Okay, let's talk about this while I have you, because it would be a lot more politically correct, probably coming from us two the most, I would think. The Christmas tree ordeal with Mo. What is up with the hate?
May he burn in hell. No, I'm kidding. So it's long story short.
Why? Okay, I understand why people are like, what the hell? Like, why are you doing this? Blah blah blah. But like the hate, if you read the comments on that Instagram post, I'm like, dude, like, what is wrong with you people?
Yeah. You should see the campaigns on Twitter against him for being a sellout, bad example, Muslim, all that. And I don't want to mix religion into the show or into anything that we do, but the bottom line is, religiously in Islam, you don't celebrate anybody else's religious holiday. You celebrate yours. But here's how I view it. The guy lives over there, and he's not celebrating it for the religion. He's celebrating it for the culture. He doesn't.
Thank you.
He doesn't wear a cross and say, "Ha ha!" Right? He doesn't, say, "Let's have Christmas."
I don't know what that was, but okay.
No, like to piss the Muslims off,
Oh, okay.
Screw you guys, Or he doesn't sit down in the morning and wake up and says, "Let's have Christmas breakfast and let's pray and let's, happy birthday, Jesus." He doesn't do any of that. He takes a picture of a Christmas tree in his home, wearing cute matching pajamas with his daughters, who happen to go to school in England. They hear about this all the time. They see it in the movies. They see it in the TV shows. They see it in the culture. At no point does he claim he's a Christian. At no point does he claim he's not Muslim anymore. All he does is he puts a tree in his home and he
Yeah.
sits down in front of it and takes a picture. Fun fact, if you didn't know, I'm Muslim. I have a tree in my home.
And you will burn in hell for it, my friend.
And no, and you know what? We don't do it because, Jesus is coming, or we don't do it because Jesus put the tree there. Nobody does it for Jesus. Christmas is more of a cultural thing outside of the religion aspect of it.
Percentage of people that are actually celebrating Christmas as, I mean, I know it's like, like one of the rare times people go to church or something, maybe for some,
Right.
but I don't think, the percentage of people actually celebrating it as a religious holiday. I mean, I'm not a religious person. On paper, I'm Muslim, but I don't, practice it. I don't follow it. I'm not a religious person. So, I mean, we have kind of we're not a very religious family, let's put it that way. But there's like the Christmas tree, and it's not like, we have a nativity scene and we're going through the whole spiel and stuff like that.
Right.
It's just basically, it's that time of year, it's Christmas. We have our own family traditions, opening the gifts, this breakfast, blah, blah, blah. It's a family thing more than anything. I grew up in Turkey, obviously, in Istanbul, and back home it's the New Year's Eve. And it was more about like the gift exchange and celebrating, blah, blah, blah. And you would do that on New Year's Eve, because obviously there was no like Christmas and stuff like that. But I know like towards the end, I think people started having trees and stuff like that. But I mean, it's, I highly doubt that's Ryan, really, because I don't know why, but I don't want to assume. But
especially with the fucking religious, I'm sure you are not very fucking religious.
But yeah, I just don't. I see the hate on it. That's why I feel like us talking about it is going to be the least, like the most politically correct.
The bottom line is, it's exaggerated hate. It's extremely hateful to do such things, and honestly, it's embarrassing. It's very embarrassing. He lives in a country where that's practiced. He sees it on the streets. His kids see it. And again, I will repeat, he puts a tree with little lights and he matches pajamas with his daughters and they take a picture. And it ends right there. You don't see him doing anything else. Why the hate? It's part of the culture. It's part of what his kids see growing up. So it's funny, the Muslim people that are commenting and posting really nasty things about him, you click their pages and it's just whether he's out partying or drinking, like, so that's okay, but Mo putting a picture of a goddamn tree is not okay. Like, that makes no sense. And then there's a campaign now on Twitter in Arabic, which I'm glad you're not on that side of Twitter. They're posting Muslim athletes, who are better than Mo because they're better Muslims. So everybody's posting Kante, this, and then the biggest name that's being posted because he plays in Saudi is Karim Benzema.
Oh, so, really? What does he do?
So I mean, he's Muslim, and he doesn't post the Christmas tree on his page. Instead, in Ramadan, he posts himself breaking fast, praying, and going to Mecca. But then all the comments in response to that, yes, Karim Benzema is one of the best Muslims. He's actually ranked as the number 15 best Muslim in sports. Google Benzema 15. Then when you Google Benzema 15, you realize that he had a rape charge against a 15-year-old. And this is the guy they're comparing to a guy who sits in front of a tree. And like, guys, I get it, but what the fuck? At least pick somebody better.
That's why it's all this stuff is all show anyway. I feel like,
and I'm so glad they asked him after the game, "What is your message to the fan?" He said, "Merry Christmas." He was just trying to piss them off.
Happy holidays at the answer, but I didn't notice he said Merry Christmas.
I just thought, I was like, you know what, Mo, you're funny. Yeah,
it was just ridiculous. But yeah, that's why I figured, like, it would be the most politically correct if I get you to talk about it, because I think, because otherwise people will think like we have a problem with the religion itself. We don't. I mean, I don't. You do you. I don't care like what people do for their religion. If it makes you happy, gives you peace of mind, you do you. Just don't judge other people or like go at other people for like doing it. It's just like my thing. And I just like, as I was reading the comments, it just makes you shake your head. And I'm like, dude, seriously, this is your battle for the day. This is the fight.
You're fighting a tree. Jesus, you're fighting a tree. Not even fighting the guy, you're fighting a tree. Like,
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I think at this point, if I'm Mo, I'm just doing it for spite at this point.
I'm almost certain that's what he does it for. Like 75%.
Get out of here.
Yeah, like his daughter's like, "Daddy, are we putting the tree out?" He's like, Yes, we
We're
are.
putting up 3 this year, honey.
Yeah. And then I hope his contract announcement is in front of the tree.
Yeah, hopefully that's coming soon. So let's talk about. So we talked about the front line. I mean, not a lot of changes you can make in the back, unfortunately, unless the only option that you really have is Kwanzaa and Costas. No to both, right?
We're okay the way we are.
Okay, that's. I mean,
Cos-
I'm assuming. I
Costas
just
can,
didn't know if you would put Robo back-to-back games with 3 days rest.
yeah, I think he will. But not gonna play the full 90. I feel a good 60, 65 for
Okay.
Robo, and then Costas comes in and Robo starts his recovery. With all love and respect for Kwanzaa, and I made my point clear about him, but there's no need to start him right now. Not in this high pressure time of year. Not now. You can start him in the Cup. You can start him in the FA Cup, EFL, at the Carabao Cup. You can start him in the Champions League. We're already on top of the table over there, and we're comfortable cruising through, but don't start Kwanzaa.
I think he is
Right.
going to get. I mean, when you look at the schedule, so West Ham, Liverpool, probably. I mean, I doubt against Tottenham, but then you have the FA Cup game, you have the Champions League games coming up, so he will get his opportunities. I think in those games as part of the
He will.
rotation.
He will.
Of course, we're saying
And
that,
that's
but
why,
Konate should be back soon as well.
yeah, and that's why, Kwanzaa's a placeholder for Konate until he's fit, but until then, give him minutes if you're comfortable in the lead or if it's a game like the FA Cup game. Other than that, the kid is lacking confidence. Don't put pressure on him. Do not make it worse for him. That's how I see it.
I think so too. Like, you putting him in a, like, I don't know, like a EFL against Spurs or something like that, against United, really, really affecting. Like, you just making it worse. You're not helping the kid at all. I don't know how Arne would. I mean, I'm kind of torn with that too. Like, in some ways, you're not helping the kid, but in other ways, you're like, hey, if the
Right.
kid does not have the mental fortitude, then the kid does not have the mental fortitude for this level. So I don't know how Arne Slot handles that. That's going to be interesting to see. I actually thought he gave him a lot more opportunities than I thought he would, based on how the season started, right?
Yes.
So I don't know if he continues on that, and this is his trend. He's like, I don't care what you guys think. I'm just gonna, give him the opportunities. But, and like I say, sadly for him, any mistake he's had has resulted in a goal. And there are a lot of times where you, like, what was that? What game was that? The City game that Van Dijk screwed up, and then Kelleher saved. I think we were already up 2-0 or something like that.
City,
but
with the bad pass from Verge, yeah.
Like something like that. If it happens to Kwanzaa, it ends up being a goal. So it's just that's the
Again,
midfield. I guess is the bigger question.
Just the right guy in the wrong place in the wrong time, and he's gonna get it. And I said this post match last week. He is the future center back of this club. I don't see him going anywhere. Maybe a loan spell to give him minutes here or there, even if that. But other than that, the kid's got a bright future again for him. We saw him come in last season as a nobody where we didn't know him, where he had zero pressure on him. My goodness, what a magician he was.
Yeah.
But then the pressure comes in, season starts, you're subbed at half, and everything just falls apart.
But is that not a concern that, I know he's young, but is that also not a concern? Goes back to that mental fortitude thing. Like, if you don't have it, you don't have it. I know for defenders it's different, and you can get it over time. That's why you hit your prime a lot later as a defender.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where
you don't have it sometimes.
I think it's one of those things where it'll come with time, with more incidents, with more situations. Listen, you got to make mistakes to learn. He's going to make more mistakes. So will Van Dijk. So will everybody that plays for this club. So he's going to make more mistakes, and he's going to learn. The question is, how much is he going to take in and learn versus how much he's going to take in and hate himself and hate his life and turn into one of those players that just starts getting loaned around and playing around because he's just not ready for the top. We'll see.
And that's why, I know, like you just said it. I think, like, Brian, we were like talking to the show about loaning him. I just don't think loaning him helps him at all, because he can go somewhere, play really well in championship or something like that. When he comes back, the mental issues are going to come right back when he puts on a Liverpool jersey. So for him to get past that, he has to do well wearing that jersey, I think, in his head.
And you guys countered me with a very good point. You guys said we have so many games coming up. We can use him in a lot of those games to give him minutes. And in my head, I'm like, oh shit, that's true. We've got so many games. We're playing for 4 different titles. We're playing constantly for the next month. So yes, there will be games that he will get plenty of minutes in, and let's hope those are games we can use for him to just improve and get back to where he wants to be. And I strongly believe he will.
I mean, in January, we have like 8 games. So, like, literally playing every 3-4 days over there. So, I mean, Accrington Stanley, I mean, he's going to have like the Champions League games, probably both of them. I think those are your chances to rotate and focus, because there are some tough away games. You go to Forest, you go to Brentford, and you go to Bournemouth. Those are 3 tough away games in there. And honestly, by the time you get out of those, you might be in good shape the way things are panning out. Maybe, you never know. Maybe Ipswich will make a surprise today. I don't see it, but so midfield tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, Sunday. Who do you have there? Same lineup? You just trot them back out there?
I think it'll be Grav, McAllister, and Jones. Yeah, I think it'll be that. But I just don't think they'll play as much as they did. Specifically, McAllister and Gravenberch. Again, depending on the score. I just think with Gravenberch being a yellow away from a suspension, I might even be reckless enough to say maybe Endo starts. I don't know. But I'd say Gravenberch starts, but gets his 60, 65 minutes and he sits out, because Grav is pretty reckless when it comes to getting yellows, by the way.
Yeah, that's I do worry about that. And he almost got it yesterday because he lunges. He doesn't get it. And that's the makes the foul.
So that's the thing. He's not a natural holding midfielder. So even his tackling is weird because he's a long, lengthy, guy. And so his tackling is kind of look like little frog jumping. I love it. But his recklessness with getting yellows reminds me of Raul Morelos when he played for Liverpool, and he was just always a yellow away from a red card every single game. That's what he reminds me of. But at least Raul was an actual holding midfielder.
Yeah,
where I think Grav is trying to make it work.
Though, when he came over, like last year, the biggest issue I had him was he was giving away set piece after set piece after set piece, fouling people, and he was in a more advanced role. So I was like, dude, don't keep coming back here and giving up set pieces to people, just fouling needlessly and stuff like that. But Ryan says he would like Harvey to start in the 10. I just don't know if he gets a 90. I mean, I can see, like, going back to what you were saying, those guys coming in earlier to give some rest, because then here's the thing, though, you don't play for another week after that. Jamie says this is going back to the Kwanzaa conversation. A lot of value has to be put into training with Liverpool and against elite players every day. That's a good point too. I mean, I think that helps. My thing with him staying at Liverpool is more mental though than anything else. Like I say, I don't think he can go have a great season with, I don't know, Queen's Park Rangers or something like that. When he comes back and puts the Liverpool jersey, all that is going to go. He's not going to come back and like, I was great at Queen's Park Rangers. You guys should have seen me. So it's going to come back. So for him to get confidence, because I really think confidence is like more like the issue than anything else right now. He has to do it in a Liverpool jersey. So getting opportunities like that, even if it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes here and there, will be the way to go. West Ham game is going to be a lot trickier. Obviously, you have to deal with Bowen and stuff like that. It's going to be a lot more. We can rotate at least a lot more up top, though, and West Ham won't be able to as much. What do you see coming out of this game prediction-wise?
I think a comfortable win.
Comfortable win?
Yeah, I think a comfortable win will be just what we get. Obviously, we know the struggles West Ham are having. We can't pretend like they're not, even though I like Julian Lopetegui, and I think he's a great manager. I think the struggles they're having are
famous last words. He's probably like, no, not the endorsement of Anand.
And I think it's funny that every time something happens to West Ham, somebody messages me in the Discord. Look at West Ham. I'm like, guys, I know they're ass. Like, you don't need to tell me. Like, just because they're ass doesn't mean it's Julian's fault. But with that being said, I think a comfortable win will be what we see. Even with the rotation, we'll go out there and we'll just comfortably go ahead and get the win, get the nod, rest some players early, and move on to United.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I'm not as I'm not as optimistic as it's going to be an easy win or something like that. But then again, I never am. So I think it will be tough just because they have more firepower. That was one thing. And then when Vardy was not able to play, I was like, I don't know if they're gonna get goals, kind of a thing. By the way, we did get a Timuchin special yesterday. Ryan says Timuchin special, so we did get a Timuchin. Not the way I wanted it, because I was talking about it in the pre-match. I kind of thought we would go up 3, do a bunch of subs, and that would cause us to kind of like concede a silly goal or something like that. This was the stressful version of the Timuchin special. But yeah, see, like Bowen and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing. I'm hoping that, as a club, we're a lot more used to playing every 3-4 days compared to a team like West Ham. So the impact it will have on them, I think, will be more than the impact it will have on us.
Yeah.
Let's hope, I guess. Let's go with that way. So final
Also,
score prediction was
3-0.
3-0. I am sticking with my special because that's why it's so special. Yeah, I'm sticking with the special over here with the 3-1. I mean, like I say, man, every game we get is, and this would be basically the halfway mark. Well, not for us, I guess we have a game, but the rest of the league, it'll be the halfway mark. And if you go in 7 points ahead of your closest rival, that's good business right there.
Yeah.
Let's get some predictions. Shelton is going with the 2-1.
The slot special.
That's slot special is 2-0. That's the
it's 2-0. Okay.
And that is that a concern, by the way, not having clean sheets in a while over here after like kind of bragging about the least amount of goals conceded? Or
well, was it that Cersei said to sound like ever since Kelleher got dropped, we haven't kept the clean sheet? No, I'm not concerned. I think we're at a stage where we're likely to concede, but we're also going to score more than the opponent. Kind of like the Michael Owen statement. Well, whichever team scores more goals is going to win this game. And it's that's the phase we're at now. We're not quite Brendan Rodgers, where it's fine to concede 5 because we're going to score 6. But I think we're going to concede 1. Shit happens, but where do we go from there? So I'm okay with it. But I think we will keep a clean sheet at West Ham.
One thing they were asking Slots about in the post-match was that, and I kind of like what he said, even though, I don't like conceding, but he was talking about the chances we've given up have resulted in goals, but we're actually still giving up the same number of chances. It's just that, the conversion rate on them happens to be higher. Because, I mean, he is right. Aside from, there was another instance where the ball came in the box in the second half on the ground, and Daka kind of trips over himself, kind of a thing, trying to kicks it to his other foot or something like that. He did. Aside from that, they really did not pose any danger. We were able to control everything. So I think that's ultimately what he's looking at, is how many chances we're giving up, and we didn't. They converted the only one they had in the first half. They converted. Right. So not much you can do with that. You are going to give some chances up. There's no way you give like 0 goal opportunities to an opponent in the Premier League. Everybody has ultimately top-notch guys who play for the national team and stuff like that up top. So Sunday we will be back for the pre-match. You're going with the 3-0. I'm going with the 3-1. Hopefully we'll be talking about another win, but we'll be live for the pre-match the moment the lineup goes out. Who is playing? Let's take a look at that real quick, actually. So obviously Arsenal is going to be playing after us, I would think, correct? Since they are playing today. When we play on Sunday, Arsenal is going away to Brentford this weekend.
Yeah, Chelsea got Ipswich.
Chelsea's going away to Ipswich. I don't know, just watching this game this week kind of against, and I know it was against Fulham, but it's a Fulham team that we dominated for the most part, even with 10 players. So I still think, watching Chelsea not be able to hang on to that lead and how they play and stuff like that, I just don't see them they don't see themselves, or they try not to see themselves.
Yeah.
And the moment the pressure gets more and the more contender talk comes up for them, I think the poorer they perform. Arsenal, I think, is still the team to watch, and they are playing away to Brentford. So get the 3 points and then sit down and wait. I guess that's not till Wednesday, though, which is...
Arsenal got Ipswich today at 3. Well, 3 in Michigan.
I don't have a lot of hope in that one, to be honest with you.
But... Yeah, neither do I. The Brentford one is the one I do have a little bit of hope for.
Brentford one, yes, because Brentford, well, until last week, they had won every single game at home. I think that was their first loss last week. Hopefully, they don't make a habit of it. Good games, actually, today. Brighton-Brentford actually should be a more fun game to watch.
That's a good game.
Than Arsenal Ipswich Town. But
but
enjoy the games today. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. And we'll see you guys on Sunday. Take care.